Hello and welcome to 10 Minute Tabletop. I'm Devin.
And I'm Darren.
And here are the 3 biggest stories in tabletop gaming in 10 minutes or less so you can get back to playing the game. First up, the One Ring has been found.
Yes, you guys. Charlie is going to the chocolate factory. It has been discovered. The One Ring from the Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings pack, where they only made one in the world, has officially been found.
Yeah. Now, we talked last week about how there is a game store, a hobby store in Spain that was offering $2 million bounty for whoever got it. Mm-hmm. The ring has been found. It's been graded. We don't know if a sale is going to happen. We don't know if an auction is going to happen. We don't know what's happening with the One Ring yet. We know that the person who found it is remaining anonymous.
Yeah, which makes total sense, especially with all the hype and all the flurry that's gone on with it. It got graded a 9 on this PSA scale, right? Which is like one shot of being perfect.
Yeah.
And people are like tearing it apart, like, oh, there might be curling. But the big news is that it was found. And I think it's actually, because the box sets that had the 12 packs of cards with it was 40 cards or whatever.
Yeah.
That was going for $500 on Amazon at one point, and those prices have already dropped by $100 on some prices.
Immediately, because everyone, it's crazy that this actually did spur that movement. I'm a little bummed that it didn't take longer.
Yeah. You wanted to keep building? You want to see who else would throw it out there? I see your paella. I raise you.
I just like the idea that there was this card that maybe no one would ever find.
Oh, elusive.
You know? I do like the idea that oh, what happened is nobody ever found it. You know? It feels kind of like a Ready Player One kind of Easter egg kind of thing.
Yeah. That would have been fun. But you know what? We're avid, you know? If there's something's dangled before us, I think people were going nuts and just buying those things up like hotcakes. And now that it's been bought, people are like, ugh.
Yeah. And, reading here from Dicebreaker, quoting, the marketing play has worked for Wizards of the Coast, and I'm sure we'll be hearing the Hasbro president, Chris Cox, congratulate Magic the Gathering once again for topping its quarterly revenue and cementing the legacy as the toy giant's most profitable billion-dollar brand.
Wow. I mean, if it does sell for $2 million, it will be the highest selling card in game card history. Not trading cards, baseball cards. That's a whole other bag.
Yeah, right.
Those are $12 million.
But at least for Magic the Gathering, this is setting a record.
This is...
Which is great for a billion-dollar aftermarket or secondary market.
Yeah.
Okay, our next story today, also about Wizards of the Coast. They have stopped their own direct sales of physical books for Dungeons & Dragons with their upcoming releases.
Mm-hmm. It seems like they're trying to make this move towards digital. If you wanted to get the pre-orders for the Big Beast Presents, Glory of the Giants, or Fandelver Below the Shattered Obelisk, you have to either buy it digitally online or to buy it directly from Wizards of the Coast, just to clarify. You have to either buy it in their online store or you have to buy the physical bundle that comes with a D&D barcode.
Yeah.
And
you can't get just a physical book. You have to get the book and the digital together now.
Oh, together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's no you can buy the bundle, you can pre-order that. But I even went to the Amazon store for D&D, and I'm not seeing any pre-sales of the physical book.
So they just pulled it from all the stores.
But the only other way you can get a physical book only is going to a game store or a hobby store. So this could be great for friendly local game stores. They're not having to compete with Amazon, but of course, that's because WotC wants to take that Amazon business and they want to focus it really into the D&D Beyond business.
Yeah, and they also made another little hurdle for it, which is making the physical books, if you do want to buy them, $10 more. So if people are looking to save money when they're buying a bunch of books, they're obviously going to go for the digital option. And it just seems like they're kind of trying to wrap this ease of use, lower the barrier entry, all to be in one digital marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I really don't think it's they're trying to lower the barrier to entry. I think it is they want to have as many active users as possible on D&D Beyond. That's what's going to drive up their stock. That's what's going to create more sales on the digital marketplace. There's no printing costs involved when you have some of the digital marketplace. There's no shipping. There's no distribution costs. So all the costs are eaten up on the book. You're making that much more profit when you're selling digital access.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of what I meant in terms of wrapping it all into D&D Beyond, because it's going to be synonymous. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, and the idea is, they know, there's been some chatter about the moment someone buys something on D&D Beyond, they're incredibly likely to continue purchasing on D&D Beyond rather than physical books. Mm-hmm. And you can't actually measure that with physical book sales.
Yeah.
Right?
And especially when you want to get something on D&D Beyond, it's oh, I wanted to play the Oathbreaker Paladin class, but you have to get it from a certain kind of book. It's like you want to buy those books and build up like.
Or you just buy the class for
Yeah.
$1.99.
Yeah, I definitely do a lot of that. You buy the spells, you can buy the classes, and so that just like drives it even more. It's like, well, you know, if I want to just like expand the lore of what my campaign can have and my players can have, I might as well just buy the whole book and have it. If I buy it on the digital marketplace already, then like, you know.
And why is this important? I mean, this again is just D&D saying, hey, like our platform is the platform they want to have people on.
Yeah.
The stopping, physical book direct sales could actually be a huge boon to independent gaming stores. If people are like, hey, I want this, I don't want it to be on D&D Beyond, but I want the book. Because the game stores, I still also believe, have the only variant covers.
Okay.
So I think this could be great for independent game stores. We'd have to see. But I do think they are trying to compensate for the fact that they are increasing their costs on the physical copies to make sure that people go digital instead. You know, it's kind of like, hey, the books are really expensive, but you can get it digitally for a lot cheaper when there's no distribution, no printing, none of those costs associated with it.
It's like if you're even interested in D&D, right? You're like, D&D handbook. It's like, well, come on over to D&D Beyond, and then you can buy that handbook. So it's like they have to know about it if they even want to figure out what it's about.
And our last story today is about Kickstarter. We talked about this a while back when we were talking about how BackerKit is kind of the biggest competitor in the crowdfunding space for gaming against Kickstarter. And a lot of people left Kickstarter because they announced in 2021 that they are moving to a blockchain. They're moving to the kind of their own crypto.
Yeah, and like the blockchain to support things like NFTs, like cryptocurrency, and like it got a pretty big backlash, especially from like some of the tabletop creators.
One of the largest creators, Gloomhaven,
Yes.
was like, hey, we're not going to use you anymore. And they moved to BackerKit.
Yeah, because there was just saying like, there's a quote here somewhere, but they're just basically talking about like the ethics of it all, from like scams and allegations of money laundering and like all that kind of shit. Like they just did not want it to be involved with that. And then Kickstarter, like a few months later, was like started walking it back, and they're like, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, and they've chosen to be specifically vague about this, but it does sound like they're not looking to actually expand into a cryptocurrency for their crowdfunding, any kind of blockchain technology. And this is on the heels of like, listen, blockchain, cryptocurrency was the big thing, then NFTs were, and now it's AI. And it seems like very few people are still talking about crypto as far as like an emerging tech space for, innovating. And same with NFTs. It's all about AI now. So this makes sense that Kickstarter is going to back away from that. They're probably going to push into something more AI. But the reason why this is important is this could be a huge, new competitive angle that's not going to give BackerKit such an advantage.
Yeah, because they've done some work to like do some damage control for this, right? Because it's like they relented. They have been, I think, pointedly vague about like whether or not they're going to do it, but they assembled that community panel.
They brought in like their top creators, council, where they would get their feedback on things.
The Community Advisory Council, which had like a bunch of creators and stuff to basically get a better idea of like how to better serve their creators and the people in their community. And it seems like they're actually listening to it. They just did a blog post like last week about like how they gave like invaluable feedback of like how they're going to how they're going to do things going forward, and like focusing on things like making it like independent creators it easier for them to get started on Kickstarter. And then they're like kind of vaguely like, we're not doing blockchain, but we're also not gonna do blockchain.
But I mean, like they lost a number of people because of this decision. If those people come back, that's bad for BackerKit.
Right.
BackerKit is making is taking is moving in to take a pretty nice pie of the gaming crowdfunding. And one of their competitive advantages was that they weren't doing this blockchain and that they were very creator focused.
Yeah.
So it seems like Kickstarter is listening to this now, and they want to kind of get that piece of the pie back.
They're like, you said creator focus, right? Me too. Us as well. That's so weird. Have you met our council?
And those are our three big stories for this week. The one little extra is looks like Baldur's Gate 3 is being moved up in its release schedule, and we'll be seeing Baldur's Gate 3 in August rather than September. So that's exciting. I can't wait to play it.
Yay.
Thank you so much. If you enjoyed the show and you want to support us, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/TotalPartyChill. Thanks so much, and have a good weekend.
See you next.